Any high-performance computer, or HPC, that you work on probably won't physically be in the same room with you. Instead, you'll need to access it remotely. There are different ways to do this, but in this video, we'll talk about one common way, which is through a terminal with a secure shell, or SSH, command. A similar command, SFTP, allows you to access a remote system for the specific purpose of transferring files. I'll cover that in a separate video and focus on connecting through SSH here. Logging in with SSH will likely look different depending on the platform you're on. I'll talk first about the way it will typically work for a Unix-based system, either Mac or Linux, and then I'll address Windows-based systems after that. On Unix systems, connecting will usually look something like this. In a terminal window, we give the SSH command, followed by a space, and then a destination, which usually comes in the form of username @hostname. For example, OSU6672 is my personal username at OSC, and owens.osc.edu is the name of the particular supercomputer at OSC named Owens that I'm logging into here, as that center actually consists of a few separate supercomputers. If it's your first time logging into a specific remote computer, you'll likely get a message like this, asking if you're sure you want to connect. If so, you can enter yes to continue, and when you do, your computer will probably automatically store the name of that host, and you won't likely see this message during future logins to the same system. You'll also probably be prompted for your password that's associated with the account. In many cases, when you put this in, the characters are hidden and nothing's displayed on the screen as you enter it, but that's expected. Assuming all goes well, this is all there is to logging in, and you're now working on that remote system. Unfortunately, that process probably won't work if you're on a Windows computer without a terminal. In those cases, one option is to download and install an SSH client like PuTTY. You can do that by following the download link at www.putty.org and selecting and installing the right version for your system. Once it's installed, open it up, probably from your Start menu, and you should get something that looks like this. Here, you need to specify the host name, for me, owens.osc.edu, and you might also have to set the port to 22 if that's not already the default. After you click OK, you should get a prompt for your username and password. And assuming things go as expected, that should be enough to get you connected to the remote system. Now, that covers connecting through SSH, and that's all I'm planning to address here. However, it is worth noting that there are other options. For example, some systems, including OSC, offer a method for connecting from within a web browser, which many might find to be a more user-friendly approach. For this, OSC uses the on-demand system, and you can get information about that on their website or access it at ondemand.osc.edu. Regardless of the approach you use, a successful login means you made a connection between your computer and the remote computer. And at least for the SSH approach, the environment inside your terminal becomes that of the remote computer, which is probably going to be a Linux-based system. For example, if I check my working directory with a pwd command after I've used SSH to connect, the folder that's returned is not a folder on my local computer, but one that exists on the supercomputer. At this point, I have no interaction with my local computer, including any files or directories on it. I'm instead working exclusively on the remote computer. Once you've finished with your session on the remote system, logging off can be done either by typing exit at the command line, which will keep your terminal open but return you to the environment on your local computer, or you can just close the window out. In the next video, we'll take a look at how the Ohio Supercomputer Center resources are structured, as one example of the way HPC systems are sometimes set up.